The 730th edition of the MMA Gambling League podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 730 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to MMA Upside, the MMA Upside, one of our YouTube friends. Thank you for coming to the show. I am Tip Sport Game Changer Fox, and we are here with another futures episode. Welterweights. We're moving on up in weight, up to the welterweights division. Yesterday, of course, was the lightweights. If you haven't got in that episode, check it out now. And today, as I said, is all about the welterweights, where Gumby and I, we had a big hit coming in this year, Gumby, really. And we both had Bilal Muhammad plus 480. So congrats to
Hell
us.
yeah. That's a great hit.
It is. He was, do you remember who the champ was heading into the year?
The champ had to have been Leon Edwards.
Yes, you do remember. Good job. Yep.
And so with that, the Weili Zhang hit, the Islam Makhachev hit.
Probably had money.
Yeah, we had a year, man.
I didn't look ahead until now. I'm like, oh yeah,
I had Weili Zhang, right?
Yep.
But you did you not?
No, I had Suarez.
Yeah, who doesn't fight?
Exactly. Exactly. But yes, we both hit Bilal Muhammad. So it helps. One fight and then pull out of a fight that you probably would have lost, and perfect. We hit. So we should be thankful that he
I mean, the books seem to think he would have lost it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, welterweights. Thoughts on the state of welterweight before we
love it
more?
Maybe the most fun division right now.
Yeah. Okay.
What
do you love so much about it?
It's, you could tell me no less than like 6 or 7 different guys would be champion at the end of the year, and it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you let's take some of the middling guys in those other divisions and just say I don't know. Hang on. Let me run down. Let me run down a different division real quick here.
Let's run down some middling guys.
Yeah. So let me tell you what I mean by middling. So let's go to the women's divisions. And let's say, what do you, Jessica Andrade? I just fast forward to your brain, and Jessica Andrade is the flyweight champion, not even the strawweight champion, the flyweight champion at the end of the year. Yana Santos is the bantamweight champion.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So that's the mentality I want you to get in. And that's the same level as Michael Morales in this division.
Yeah. Michael Morales is a dog for sure.
Undefeated, 20, what is he, 25 or 26-year-old beast who's knocked out Neil Magny. Who wouldn't be more excited than him than Yana Santos, and that's the same level we're talking about. So I think this division has just got more depth. If you go back and you listen to yesterday's episode where we talked about the lightweight division, lightweight's got no middle part of it, right? It had the tippity top that you could get excited about a couple of picks there. It's got some long shot dogs that you were like, who knows? That could be fun to throw pizza money on, but it had nothing in the middle. This is, I think the middle here is real thick.
All right, here are just a handful of fighters under 30 in this division. Trey Waters undefeated in the UFC. Danny Barlow undefeated in the UFC too. They both 2-0. Jack Della Maddalena 7-0. Who else do we got?
Michael Morales.
Ian Machado Gary 8-1 in the UFC. He's 27. Oban Elliott is 27. Also, he's 3-0. Michael Morales, the aforementioned, 5-0. 25 in the UFC. So yeah, there's a lot to like.
Dang, Oban Elliott's name in there feels wrong.
Hey, he's technically undefeated, 3-0 in the UFC, and he's also a Welsh gangster. And Shavkat would have been included, but he just turned 30, so he's technically 30, as is Brian Battle. So, but yeah, a lot of young up and coming people here to speak of. After I tell you about our app, if you haven't already, please take our advice and get the SGPN app. You can check out all our picks on there, our podcasts, our articles, our giveaways, contests, all the good stuff is all there. And it's all in one place for free. Just type in SGPN in the App Store and you win. Boom. All right, there is no fights of all the people I mentioned. None of them have fights really. Oh, Danny Barlow has a fight lined up with Sam Patterson. So a couple of younger guys going at it. Which is
He's gonna kill him.
Yeah, 2-0. The top fight, quote unquote, that we have booked so far, I guess, would be Renat Fakhreddina versus Gabriel Bonfim. That's not really a title contender fight at this point. So a lot up in the air still at welterweight. Right at the top, speaking of the title fight, we don't know. We assume it's going to be our man Shavkat versus Bilal Muhammad. We don't really know when yet. Have you heard rumblings? Can you guesstimate which pay-per-view they're going to stick that one on?
I've heard March or April, but I'd have to double check on when Ramadan is, because obviously that throws a wrench into things. But yeah, I've heard March or April for those.
Okay. All right. Let me see when Ramadan 2025 is. February 28th to March 29th.
Okay, so probably April is my guess.
All right. That is your guess. Yeah. I forgot. Shara Bullet is fighting as well against Michael Bennon Page. So there you go. That's a big fight too, right, Gumby?
Shara Bullet doing some things.
But we'll probably talk about him eventually.
Okay, never mind.
No. Fine. Yes. All right. You want to give us some odds? It's your turn.
Yeah, I can give you odds. All right. Let's run them down. The number one on the odds, you might be surprised to find, is not the champion. Is not Bilal Muhammad. We hit him at plus 480 as a non-champion, but now he's a champion. Still didn't help his odds. Yeah. We got Shavkat Rakhmonov, negative 150 as the favorite. Bilal Muhammad, plus 200. Leon Edwards, coming off 2 losses, plus 350. Joaquin Buckley, also tied there, plus 350. Ian Machado Gary, plus 400. Islam Makhachev, plus 500. Then you got Kamaru Usman, plus 700.
Yeah, I would take Islam for 200 less for sure over Kamaru Usman.
And then the only other two under 50 to 1 are Sean Brady, 20 to 1. Jack Della Maddalena, 22 to 1.
Why is Sean Brady better than Jack Della Maddalena? Can you explain that?
I mean, I think stylistically he makes a lot of sense. He won a grappling match on Saturday night over Boogeyman Martinez, where he hit a mounted guillotine. And I think it's that like grappling aspect of his game, right? Because like if you look at the people at the top of this division, like what's it going to take to beat Shavkat? What's it going to take to beat
you already have a shot? Oh, okay, sorry.
Or Bilal Muhammad. No, Shavkat, Bilal Muhammad. I mean, like even Kamaru Usman, right? It's like, what's it take to beat those guys? It's like a little bit of wrestling. And I think,
a staircase is how you beat Usman.
Yeah, wow. But any of those guys, we're talking about just needing like a little bit of wrestling. So I think like he stylistically makes more sense than Jack Della Maddalena, who was like losing his last fight to Gilbert Burns until he wasn't. So I think that's probably why. But with that being said, I'm gonna kick it to you.
Always me, isn't it?
You always like here on your best.
You just want to ride off my jet streams. Shavkat minus 150. He's going to be the champ. I don't know if it's your best bet necessarily. Gumby changed his last. He said best bet rather than who he thought was going to be lightweight champion. But I think
literally the little graphic that said best bet has been on all of these.
Oh, that's true. I don't look at it when I'm looking off a bunch of other screens. But no, Shavkat is my prediction to be the champ at the end of the year. So I would assume that would be the best bet then, since he's going to be the one that's going to cash.
I kind of think Shavkat's going to win too. He looked a little bit more mortal against Ian Gary, to the point where I was like, maybe I wouldn't like him at negative 150. But I feel like I would beat him. I feel like I would want better numbers on Bilal Muhammad before I bet him at that. Like if Bilal was at his same number as he was last year, double down.
Really?
Yeah. If Bilal was 5 to 1, I'd double down on Bilal. But at 2 to 1, I think he's gonna have worse odds than that in the Shavkat fight anyway.
Yeah, so, it's not posted anywhere. I just checked, sadly. Yeah, so
it's not.
What posted, was it? Has it been posted anywhere? Does anyone have it posted anywhere?
I don't remember
in the future.
Posted, no. But if it was, I bet you Bilal was worse than that. So like, if you're gonna bet Bilal, you might as well just wait until that fight happens and bet him there. So yeah, I'll say Shavkat with you. So Shavkat Rachmanov.
I Googled Rachmanov was minus 200 over Muhammad. I'm not sure when this was posted.
So that means like plus 180, 185.
170 is what listed as for
so Muhammad, why would you bet his whole year on 200? You know, unless you think he's not going to fight.
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason you bet that number.
Yeah, exactly. So we are both going with Shavkat here, are we?
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
He wins, he beats Muhammad, and then what happens? Who does he fight next? Or do you have a number one contender fight in mind, or what do you think?
Well, I think if you're looking for the middling tier, right? And that's what you're sort of hinting at next. Like who in this, you know, not immediately at the top, but not 100-1 kind of tier. You already hinted at it. Like I think Jack Della Maddalena is maybe the best value on this whole set here. It's crazy. He's lower than Sean Brady for anything other than stylistic reasons. But 22-1 on Jack Della Maddalena, a guy who just knocked out Gilbert Burns, is undefeated in the UFC, is kind of different than everybody he's going to fight stylistically, right? Yeah. Like he's just a fun, explosive striker, and nobody else is, you know, especially now that Leon Edwards is seemingly out of the way. Like I could see him fighting Leon Edwards next. And then
he's Australian. That's a big thing.
And he's Australian, which is another market.
UFC is really making an Australian push. I think it was Perth that they signed. They signed some deal that they're going to do X amount of fights every year there. And Perth is obviously paying them handsomely for that. So yeah, they need Australians.
And it's worth noting that 5 fighters this year on the Ultimate, or not the Ultimate Fighter, Contender Series got contracts from Australia. You know, Cody Hedon, who I'm super, super high on. Killian Salkeld was on there. They got tons of guys off of Australia that are super exciting. So yeah, the push for Australia might be high again. And Jack Della Maddalena 22-1, maybe one fight away, depending on how they book it. Yeah. Like you know, beating Gilbert Burns is almost the number one contender fight anyway in a lot of years. Yeah. And so then you turn around, you book him. Like I said,
that was my question. Who you booking with?
Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards.
How about Joaquin Buckley, a main event? Buckley versus Jack Della. Winner is number one contender.
If they book that, I'd pick Jack Della. And you're seeing Buckley at 3.5-1. You're seeing Jack Della at 22-1.
Right.
Like that. So if we're talking about that middling range here in terms of bets, man, is he better than every other option that is out there. Yeah. Do you have any other middling tiers that you like?
What are we going up to? What are your parameters
before 100-1? Because after 100-1 will be after the break. After you give us another ad read.
Not Michael Page, not Vicente Luque. Michael Morales for sure. Obviously, we already basically touched on that. It depends who would you like to see him fight next. I like to make you book these fights. So
I mean, Luque is coming off a win. Him and Luque make sense.
That makes sense. Yep. Carlos Praches 500-1 is also, or 50-1. 50-1 is also good.
Yeah, that's a really great. In my opinion, right up there with a Jack Della pick for 2 reasons. Number one, he's starching people. You know, he's not just beating people. He's turning their lights out, and he's turning them off in a violent way. Nobody knocks out Neil Magny like he knocked out Neil Magny, right?
Yeah.
And so you're talking about a guy who went 4-0 in 2024. Dana loves a guy who's active. 4-0 in 2024. Knocking everybody out. Weird fight style. Super rangy, long, really lanky. And it seems like the UFC is high on the fighting nerds right now.
Yeah.
Call me crazy, but I think the UFC is high on the fighting nerds right now. So if that's true, I think I'd want to be in on Praches at 50-1 too.
Yeah, the 3 right beside each other are the good ones in my eyes here. Jack Della Maddalena plus 2,200, Carlos Praches plus 5,000, Michael Morales plus 5,000. They're the 3 right there. If you want a mid-tier one.
Yeah, I like all those better than Michael Venom Page, Luque, Brady, Usman, and I'm a huge Sean Brady fan. You know that about me, but you can't touch that coming off of you know, some maybe not great performances and like needing a couple wins.
You can't touch it. It's true. All right. Before we move on, Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports. Win up to 1,000 times with Underdog Streaks. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boosts and gimme pick'ems. NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Gumby, do you have a play for the people?
Yeah, I sure do. You're gonna get this before Monday Night Football kicks off. And on Monday Night Football, we've got the San Francisco 49ers. They are going to be facing off with the Lions. I know the Lions are favored. The Lions have looked really good lately, but Brock Purdy's going to need to throw the rock in order for them to even compete in this one. It seems like their whole running back room is in the infirmary. So give me Brock Purdy's higher than on his passing yards here. I think he's going to he doesn't need to light the lines up. He could throw 3 picks, but we're still going to get the yards we need. So give me Brock Purdy's higher than on his passing.
There you go. And if you get going on Underdog Streaks, 1,000 times your entry, Gumby can get you started with the Brock Purdy pick. Sign up with our code MMASGPN. Claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. All right, back to the 170-pound people. All right, Gumby, where do you want to go next?
We gotta talk long shots now.
Have we talked about what's long shots or what? 100 to
at
1
least 100 to 1. Do you got anybody
let's talk Brian Battle. He's 100 to 1. Is he gonna stick at welterweight? What's the deal with this guy and his weight? That's the big deal that's the problem with him, is the weight.
I also just don't know that I trust his wrestling enough to beat these top wrestlers. I like Brian Battle. I'm a Pooh Bear fan from, I love the Ultimate Fighter. But man, like he looked really bad against Renat Fakhretdinov. The weight is a concern. I'm not even sure he'd be one of those guys I'd go for in that. Like, Conor McGregor's on here, by the way.
Yep. That's 250 to 1 if for all you marks that are going to get down on that. So yeah.
I just want to point out that Conor McGregor, who isn't really in the UFC, it seems like, is the same odds as Colby Covington.
Yep.
And they're combined to be the same odds as Calvin Gastelum. So there's
and they have better odds than Max Griffin, who's 500,000 to 1. Max Griffin has a better shot than those people. So yeah.
I don't know. Didn't he just
Neil Magny 500,000 to 1?
How do you feel about Val Woodburn, who I'm pretty sure the UFC released?
He's on the list, 100,000. Yeah, some of these odds are strange. Matt Brown, when's the last time he fought? 100,000 to 1.
I think he's sort of retired. He's been doing podcasts and stuff.
Yep.
So
yeah, there's some interesting names here. Gunnar
Michael
Nelson,
Chandler's at welterweight here too.
Yep. There's a lot of you remember that guy on this list? People that haven't fought for years are on this list. All right. Let's get serious though with our picks. I don't know who I like here, Gumby.
None of these feel
no
really
one's jumping out, really.
Yeah.
Is anything jumping out? Any name jumping out at you? I guess Renat Fakhretdinov is undefeated still, and he's got a fight booked.
That's 250 to 1. Who's he fighting in the book fight?
He's fighting. I just mentioned it, and I already forgot. Gabriel Bonfim. So
a win there would seemingly mean something. I'll throw out some names I sort of like. It feels like Jeff Neal would need a lot of things to go wrong in the world. Probably probably like a terrible bus crash that involved multiple UFC fighters in order to get a title shot. But that being said, he looked a lot better in his last fight, and he's 350 to 1. What if you told me you could put your lot in with either Jeff Neal or Renat Fakhretdinov?
My point is, I think I would go with, but yeah.
Well, my point is, you get an extra 100 on Jeff Neal.
Right.
And we're not saying any of these are likely. As I said at the very top of the episode, this is a division where I think the mid range is where the money's at. Whereas at lightweight, it was like on the outskirts. It was like an inverted bell curve. This is the bell curve. Like the middle range is where all the money's to be made here. So I think he's one. You mentioned Danny Barlow. 150 to 1. He's like a weird rangy striker we'd probably have to see something pretty drastic happen for him to make a big jump up, or like take a late fight to get him anywhere near there. But like, that's not the worst play. Yeah, I don't know, man. This part of the, you want to count Themba Garimbo?
Yeah,
he's
not super.
Didn't he just lose though?
His odds aren't super high either, are they? They're high, but they're not.
Actually, I take that back. Take Themba Garimbo off my list.
All right.
I don't want him to turn into being your who's the flyweight you like?
The one that you hate that I like.
I didn't hate him. I just said you were no. The flyweight you the Brazilian,
not Cameron Simon.
Felipe Bunes.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah.
Jeff Felipe Bunes, Fox.
I'm going to let you think on it, because I'm going to tell people about MyBookie while you think of something to say. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie has been running on SGPN for years. Check out the new and improved website, great on mobile, plus props for every game and the live dealer casino. They even have new early cash out options available. Check out all the MMA lines at MyBookie, and when you head there, our promo code, you need to enter SGPN. And you get 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And SGPN's prep partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build you a model. You now track your props in the Rhythm app. They got NFL picks, NFL props, college football, college basketball, and the NBA. Rhythm has it all. Al Horford prop picks, of course, they got those there too. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpockets.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpockets.com/RITHMM. Thought I better get those ad reads in, because we seem to be losing steam here. That's how exciting these picks are.
We're dragging a little bit. I'll throw one more at you. Do you want one more?
All right.
What about Uros Medic?
What about the doctor? Where is he at?
He's won 3 of his last 4. The only loss was a short notice replacement fight against Maitabek Orobai, who came up a weight class and is seemingly out of the way. Yeah, it doesn't look good losing to that guy, but like, it was also like a weird change of opponents at that time. Other than that, he's 3-3 in his last 4 fights. 2-1 at welterweight. He's knocked out 3 of his last 4 opponents. The last one was against Tim Means. Like, it seems like Uros Medic at 150-1, not the worst call in the whole wide world.
No.
Especially because like we are picking at absolute scraps here for long shots.
Yes. Yeah. Muslim Salikov, Gumby, 100,000 to 1. Come on. The king
100,000 to 1?
Yes. Plus 100,000. Sorry.
He's fresh off a win too, looking like pretty damn good too, right?
That's what I'm saying. He's the same odds as Matt Brown and Val Woodburn, and some of these odds are so strange, eh?
Val Woodburn should be $1 billion to 1.
Exactly.
No offense to Val Woodburn, he lost to Oban Elliott though. Where's Oban Elliott in here?
Yeah, I just mentioned he's one of our plus 50,000.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Okay, good. Mike Malott plus 50,000. He kind of
but he lost.
He's older and he already lost.
He lost that fight to Neil Magny.
Yeah. Josh Quinlan 50,000 to 1. Do you like that at all?
He's released, isn't he? Did he?
Did he get released? Yeah. So you don't like that one?
I'm pretty sure he's not in the UFC. so yeah, I'd say maybe
Johan Lionese 70,000 to 1.
Didn't he get released?
I'm just thinking of people that we might have liked at one point. It was
because they're power punchers. You're thinking of power punchers.
Santiago Ponzinibbio 70,000 to 1.
Tell me about how you feel about Matthew Semmelsberger too. Is he in there?
Yeah, 70,000 to 1.
There you go. I don't like
all the same range.
Let's give a quick recap here. Like if you're looking to get on a future for middleweight, first of all, like it's the tippity top or almost nothing, right? Like if you like Shavkat, you like Bilal, cool. Get in on one of those two. If not, like the way to play it is the Jack Della Maddalena piece of it all. Or if you're really in on Carlos Prates, like
or Michael Morales, I would throw him in too.
Who?
Michael Morales.
Oh, Michael Morales. I thought you said Mike Malott again. I was like, why do you keep...
Michael Morales?
Why do you keep bringing him up? Any of those 3. Yeah. It's like that top is kind of fun for those 2. The 2 are going to be in the next title fight. The next 3 are all like, I don't know, if you want to throw $10 on them, that's fun. But then after that, there's nothing left. So yeah, that's kind of my stance on that. I am gonna ask you one more question because I just don't know if this is available on every sports book out there. But the sports book we've been using for odds, for a long time had ranking odds, and I thought this was gonna be, I thought this was gonna be a big piece of what we were talking about here. But they all disappeared suddenly, except for 2 of them just showed up in my app.
Oh, really?
Again.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if they've showed up in your app. Maybe it's regionally based. Hopefully some of you other guys have other.
I do see rankings. You're right.
Are they just? Do you have just 2 of them, like I do?
I have 2 of them. 2. Why are these
2 of the most random ones ever? So
2
just so
random featherweights.
Yeah, it's will Sean Woodson be in the top 10? And will Isaac Bulgarian be ranked? And don't get me wrong, that's the kind of stuff we talk about on this podcast all the time, right? Like, is Sean Woodson a top 10 featherweight? That's a great question, but I just can't imagine either of these lines taking a lot of action, right? Like, if I'm a bookmaker and I'm looking for like ranking props, like I'm trying to like, will Michael Chandler still be top 5? Will Tony Ferguson ever be ranked again? Will like this thing happen? Will Conor McGregor appear again? Like, there's so many things I think would draw odds, and Sean Woodson being in the top 10.
It's so weird, man.
It's such a weird line to appear. I'm so happy that you up in Canada have the same exact thing, because that makes me feel like this isn't, they're just taunting Massachusetts for some reason. But
let's target the Hill people. They'll go for these. Obviously, that's why you should use mybookie.ag.
That's right. SGPN. Yeah, don't use these other ones that have weird stuff.
Exactly. So I guess we did it. We did it. We did welterweight, right?
Yeah, I'd count this.
All right, this counts. We're counting it. All right, you can talk more if you want to talk more about welterweight. It started off so promising. We told you how great the division is, and then actually the farther you go down it, not so great. We're in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We are on, of course, YouTube. Maybe you're consuming this right now on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the MMA Gambling Podcast. You can also hit us up on Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's Gumby Reeland. I'm Jeff Fox Writer. You can check out my Substack. Subscribe there. The UFC Pick'em Contest will be up and running in 2025 as soon as the UFC starts running events again. That's moneymma.substack.com. Gummy's got Top Turtle MMA podcast. It may be in your feed this week. It may not. Just wait and see. But he always has very interesting interviews. And the curse is gone. It's actually a good thing to be a guest on his show now because you win titles. At least in Octagon, you do. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Now, Gummy will bid you farewell.
I'm Dana Gumby Freeland. He's Jeff Newmonts of Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.